All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win as a consumer advocate and a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay. Coming up, Alex, BlackBelt, Lima in studio, self-defense. We're going to talk about also the power of Google, big tech, and some of those different concerns we have there as well. Also, Doug Clark coming up here, Hours Creel. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. Sugar Palm Street, 701 Sugar Palm. We got a nice retirement home here, beautiful opportunity, well-kept, well-maintained home. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, 55-plus community, 1,000 square feet. You got a 9-hole golf course on site, 3 tennis courts, 2 hot tubs, 3 pools. Awesome. Some of the furniture will be conveying with the property as well. 12 by 18 Florida room, and you also have a 10 by 12 shed that has a washer dryer as well as a utility sink at Sugar Palm Street in Largo. 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet, corner lot location in a nice private community in Largo, Pinellas County, hot area in Tampa Bay. Also, 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B. This is a beautiful townhome that we've got for sale in Carrollwood, Tampa, Florida, Carrollwood. 2-car garage with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath as well, 2,100 square feet of living space. This is Unit B, Bardmore Place, Tampa. You have a kitchen that's been completely updated, brand new stainless steel appliances, large pantry. Second floor features water-resistant parquet flooring, oversized enclosed air-conditioned lanai with ceramic tile, 5-person jacuzzi, as well as ripe banana and avocado trees in the backyard. You also have a golf course view. 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B. And you can see all of our listings online, PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, Alex, Lima, Black Belt Fitness Martial Arts. Let's talk a little bit about this big tech. You know, it's such a big concern. I mean, they swayed the election last, in the 2020 election. Big tech is so... especially now, well, it's gotten a little bit better with Twitter X, and but I want to play this quick clip here and get your comment on this. Google playing God in a sense.
So altogether, again, to bring it back, what we're seeing at Google is an organization dedicated, as Ray Kurzweil, their top R&D director, dedicated to creating God in silico, and until that point, they're more than willing to play God with the power they have now, and that is undoubtedly mind control.
Yeah, so they talk about mind control, how they're censoring certain email. They have so much control over the search function. I think primarily that's their number one breadwinner, is where they're controlling search in a lot of different ways. Like I saw one video too where you can't even put in like something about Biden crime family or what's going on with Biden's. You can't. There's no search results. Yeah. But if you put something in on the other side, of course you'll see all this negative stuff, all these different things. But the future. Look at the future. Think about if you project that out, where that goes, right?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. That whole little clip right there is. Unfortunately, those are like the modern day gods, the false idols that people are witnessing and giving praise to and their attention to is technology and influencers and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a book, it's written by, I think they did a series. I didn't really like the series as well. It got a little like perverse. I think it was on like HBO or something like that. But the book, it's written by one of the only like fictitious writers that I kind of like, is Neil Gaiman. And he wrote a great book on Norse mythology. Excellent if you've never read it. But it's called Gods and Monsters, I think. I don't want to misquote that. But it's about like essentially like gods, like Zeus, Apollo, and those type of like gods from different societies and cultures are like walking amongst the earth, and they've lost their power because people are worshiping other gods now. And one of the gods that's a new god is technology. So it's kind of like foreshadowed, man. Like people really, these are false idols and things that people are like worshiping and putting all their attention into.
It really is artificial intelligence and this AI and these chips going in people's bodies.
That's nuts.
The artificial intelligence. It's a really scary place to kind of see where it goes. If you extrapolate the data, where does this end? How far out does it really go? And
it gets crazier and crazier. Did you see? I forgot what science lab it was, but they grew an embryo without a mother or a father.
Wow.
Like they're trying to grow people in pods and stuff now.
To me,
it's nuts. You can't play God like that. Man.
What are we doing? What are we doing as a race? And it's man, and that kind of makes me think of the abortion issue too. Look, how many parents, people that want to foster, people that do want to bring in a baby, people that want to have an adoption, it seems like there's a balance there somewhere, right? If you
Yeah.
want to give up the child, do it the right way, give it up and let somebody adopt it.
Yeah, it's hard. My thought on that is sometimes I think like in cases of like incest and rape and things like that, I can't imagine the burden that female would have to bear having to carry that for 9 months. You've already been through this like traumatizing experience. I'm not justifying anything either way.
Well, that's less than, what is it, 1%, 3%.
But it happens,
Right.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a free pass like abortion. I don't think just because someone just like they're too loose, not thinking about it, they don't wear protection, and they just decide to get loose on the weekends and sleep with whoever.
Right.
And they just, I got pregnant again. Let me go get an abortion. I don't think that's right either. I don't know, man. We just, but going back to like people growing the embryo and stuff, like all this time, money, and effort spent on creating things like that, we can't cure diseases. We can't put that time and effort into COVID, not these weak fake vaccines and stuff they were giving us. Like it's just nuts, man. They're just trying to constantly, you're going back to Hitler stuff.
Yeah.
Genetically modifying human beings.
Yeah.
Trying to create the supreme race.
Yeah.
Except Hitler wanted to create a supreme race of like the strongest soldier, the perfect man,
right.
the perfect woman. These elites, they want to create the weak man to control you and just have you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, society in general.
There's a flip side there.
Well, that's another topic, is the attack on masculinity, right? And kind of we alluded to it in yesterday's show with Fred Muth. We were talking about the labor force and things of that nature. But when you look at the masculinity, toxic masculinity, they just don't want people to stand up and call out their BS. Yeah. They want people to be kowtowing, bow dowing, not
be a sheep. Fall in line, know your place, don't speak. That's what they want. They want people just to follow orders. And that goes back to what we talked about before, the other show about like the system, the school system. It teaches you to follow orders. One thing that really kind of irks me, I was reading something about it because I know a professional fighter that their stepson recently had a friend that was getting bullied in school. This is like we're talking like middle school age.
Yeah.
And the kid, the fighter's kid, watched his friend getting beat up by like this bigger bully.
Yep.
He jumps in, rips the kid off of him, right? Bully gets mad, grabs a band instrument, cracked him over the head with it, wound up to go hit him again. Kid knows how to fight. He's been training with his dad for a long time. So he goes and he drops the kid, gets on top, and defends himself. I mean, he was hit twice with a weapon, And this kid was obviously violent. He was already beating somebody else up, right? Anyways, a lot of schools, or I think all schools now, have a zero violence tolerance policy.
Right.
So the kid defending himself got cracked over the head with an instrument, suspended for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The system is teaching you to be passive and take your beatings.
Yeah. No, that's not right, man.
That's not right.
No, that's not the way I was brought up. It's like, hey, if somebody, you don't start it, but if it happens, you
better stand up for yourself.
That's right. And especially me, I was the older brother, so it's like if your brother's in an incident and you don't help out or break it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're talking with Alex Lima here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I got another clip I wanted to play here as well. Going into a little bit of, I love Charlie Kirk and everything he's done with Turning Point USA. I really think that next generation, that young generation, is being reached by him. There's a lot of optimism here when you think about Turning Point and what he's been able to do going on college campuses. He jokes about, I go on the college campuses so you don't have to. Yeah. And he kind of tapes on, sit at the table there and he'll say, hey, prove me wrong or whatever. And people come up with all these flaw. I mean, I know you've seen the videos too. They'll come up with these dumb ideas and he'll say, no, well, here's actually what you mean by that.
They have no backing.
Yeah, here's the definition of what you actually said. Here's what it actually means. Here's the history of it. Oh, you want me to quote how BLM is wrong, or he just goes off on these different topics, but he really nailed it here, the formula of the left.
They're very confused because there was a formula that was developed, and the formula is very simple. Use the playbook that Yuri Bezmenov, KGB spy, articulated with indictments, smearing, slandering, deplatforming, raiding of people's homes, bottom up, top down, Michigan electors, get Trump a mugshot, go after every single one of the type of political leaders, the humorists, Douglas Mackey, the political strategist, Steve Bannon, the filmmakers, Dinesh D'Souza, take Tucker Carlson off the airwaves, get James O'Keefe out at Project Veritas. The formula is, how can we get You could call it MAGA, the conservative movement, flyover country. I call it the decent half of the country. How can we get you demoralized? How can we get you to give up? That has been the goal. You are living through an active measure. As we have said before, you are living through a cultural revolution. And the way that they make the cultural revolution come to fruition, to come to completion, is by invoking your surrender.
Yeah, I think the opposite of that's happening in a lot of cases, right? People are seeing through it now in record numbers. They're saying, hey, look, you're indicting a former president? Are you serious? I think you're seeing that. And you know, a lot of these polls, I want to speak about these polls, too, because you hear some of these polls, oh, well, you know, Trump's up a little bit over Biden or he's up this much over DeSantis. Well, actually, the main election, the general election, I don't think Biden's going to make it. It's going to be somebody else substituted in, Michelle Obama, I think. So there's a lot of these, you know, what do they call it? Shadow voters, pocket voters, people that won't say to the pollster because they're worried about, you know, people tapping their phones or whatever. Like, hey, somehow getting out, this guy said he would vote for Trump. You know, you never know nowadays, right? I mean, it's that weaponized, politicized, and, you know, they're raiding people's homes. They're raiding just the pro-life guy. I mean, he was literally a pro-lifer standing on the sidewalk, got his home raided, and they're arresting Giuliani. They're arresting all these different Bannon and Navarro, all these people. I mean, it's just weaponization of our government.
The guy from January J6, the leader, the head of was it the Proud Boys? Or who was it? The guy.
He got 20 years, 22 years, or something like that.
22 years for just like breaking a Black Lives Matter sign.
And he wasn't even there the day of.
But like that's the world
J6.
we live in. That guy gets 22 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But
a pedophile does a little bit of time and then just registers as a sex offender and can live right next door to you.
Exactly. Yeah, but they're redefining pedophile. It's a minor attracted person in California. They're redefining it. Yeah. They're letting certain criminals off, and they're making these other cases into horrible, just like Daniel Penny, the Marine on the subway that broke up, you know, kind of basically saved all these other people's lives because the guy was literally going crazy saying, I'm going to kill people. I'm going to kill y'all. I don't care. And he takes them down, chokes them out, accidentally kills them. But they're painting him as such a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm almost curious. Like, I wish I could be a fly in the wall. I'd probably be sick to my stomach. But just for one day to sit in on, like, one of their board meetings.
Yeah.
And to hear what these elites, like, the picture in their head that they have for future America. Like, you hear all this stuff like we're talking about? Like, what is the next 10, 20 years going to be like if this process is successful?
Globalism.
This is going to, it's nuts.
They don't want us to have sovereignty.
Dead. You know, that, I mean, your freedom gone.
Yeah.
We're going to be, I was talking to my wife the other night, actually. I was watching something about, it was like the ancient samurai, and I was like, we're going to go back to these like feudal Japan type days, man, where you're living and like the Mongols come and they take your food and break into your home. And listen, you better know how to fight or you're done. They're going to enslave all of us.
Yeah.
You know, we're regressing.
Yeah.
As a society. It's sickening, but we're going to grow meat and babies in labs, but we're going to as a society, we're going to fail and crumble.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We're going to turn it around. That's what's going to happen. We're going to turn around. MAGA, Make America Great Again. What's wrong with that? Make America Great Again, right?
I don't know
Let's
why
have
that
a great
became
country.
Such a hated term. I guess just because it was so associated with a man for whatever your reasons people dislike or don't like how his attitude or whatever. But what the phrase itself, "Make America Great Again," there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we should all want. That's back to one nation, indivisible.
Yeah, that's right. So we have faith as Christians. We know we can do it. We have a faith as good and fair people. I like how Charlie said a decent half of the country. And I think it's way more than half. Let's look at it again. There was a flawed election. Call it a stolen election. Call it whatever you want. There was tech. There was Zuckerbucks flying through. There was mail-in ballots. There was harvesting 2,000 Mules, the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You got to see it. Dinesh D'Souza, SalemNow.com. Did a great job on that.
Real quick, I had a question. See what you think about this too on this, because we kind of talk. We tailgate about this stuff and talk about how what can we do for the voting system. You can watch a singing competition and everybody votes from their phone or whatever. Yeah. I believe that could be corrupted and they can mess with those numbers too. But I saw an interesting post. We can put serial numbers on dollar bills.
There you go.
Can't put that on ballots.
I love it.
So that we can track this serial number is attached to Brandon Rhymes. We know how many people are in America.
Yep.
we can't put serial numbers on ballots. That'll keep track for all. You can't have these faux numbers of 30,000 multiple votes at the same time. Nah, man.
Those ballot dumps at 4 a.m. in the morning. Come on, give me a break. It's ridiculous, man. It really was. And they're setting it up to do it again. You got the
They're trying.
You got the election year Omicron variant coming out. So be careful. The election year variant coming out.
You know, the one thing I will give them credit for is it ain't for lack of trying. I mean, they will do everything in their power to try to corrupt.
Dirty.
Super dirty.
All right, buddy. People can find you online.
Yeah, you can always go to consumerqb.com, right? Or you can go to @BlackBelt_fitness on the socials. Otherwise, you know, it's just it's still great to be an American. You know, it really is.
That's right.
There's worse places out there. I was watching something about kids in Uganda, like starving and stuff, man. It just broke my heart watching them. But even though it's great to be an American, as Americans, we can all do better.
We can.
We need to do better.
We need to, and we can, and we will. All right, good stuff, Alex. Appreciate that. All right, coming up, Doug Clark, Hours Creole. We're going to talk with him about the menu, his inspiration, and more of Hours Creole. Tarpon Springs, great restaurant, awesome ambiance, wonderful food, cool bands that come out there as well. The official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, giving you a taste of Tampa Bay here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, Doug Clark. We'll be right back after this short break. Check us out online, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer